differences between Islamic societies and Christian societies, between the conduct of the da'i in the park and the evangelists in the park. Christ said, you will know them by their fruits. Compare Italy to Saudi Arabia. Where do the Muslims who are fleeing war choose to run to?
Saudi Arabia?
No, not Saudi Arabia. They're fleeing to Italy. Why are they fleeing to a Catholic country rather than an Islamic country? Why are they not fleeing to Saudi Arabia? A country where Islam has dominated for 1400 years. The fact of the matter is, when the Taliban took over Afghanistan, the Muslims voted with their feet. They didn't want to live under Sharia law. They wanted to live under Western secular law. Amen. And notice also that all the Muslims in this park pushing Sharia law, they're not running to Sharia law countries.
They're not.
They're staying here. Because Sharia is so great, they want to stay as far away from it as they possibly can. And the reason why is because our codification of law is better than Islamic law. Go on, madam.
In the Netherlands, there is a Sharia law. They use it actually. It started from Sharia law.
Where?
The Netherlands, UK actually also.
The Sharia law. You're saying that the governing principle.
Sharia law, so I don't know why you're claiming.
I'm afraid, madam, that you just don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm afraid you don't know what you're talking about.
So please tell me, Sharia law in this country. You're saying that our law is based on Sharia law.
Actually,
can you demonstrate the principles that show that in Saxon law, in fact, let me just ask you a basic question. Do you even know when Saxon law began?
Female genital mutilation
this is the history. No, it's okay, uncle. This is the history of my people. When did our legal system begin?
Actually, in the beginning of the Netherlands.
Now we're talking about England.
No, I'm talking about the Netherlands.
You said England and Netherlands.
I mean Western countries.
That includes England.
Yeah, but the basis of is most of them are based on the Sharia law. Actually.
Right. Prove it.
Okay, not.
Jury. Female genital mutilation is
no, uncle. It's all right, uncle. It's okay. Let the lady speak. Uncle, let the lady speak. Go on.
What's his name? I'm sorry, I'm very bad at names.
It's okay.
The guy from France, the Napoli or something?
Napoleon,
thank you.
Right.
My bad at names.
Okay.
When he saw it actually in the Middle East and stuff, he saw the Sharia law and it interested him.
Okay.
So he took it with him to the Western countries and actually based it upon the rules on Sharia law.
Okay, can I reply to that?
Of course.
Because what you're saying is ahistorical nonsense.
It's actually
No, hold on one second. The French Revolution happened before Napoleon came to power. And Napoleon established the Republic and the laws of the Republic before he invaded Egypt. He didn't go on some holiday to Egypt or holiday to the Middle East and then bring back Sharia law.
Well,
The Enlightenment idea is an eternal European idea. It is not something that is built on Sharia. I don't know where you've got this myth from, but it is complete myth. It's then they have lied to you, madam. It's simply a lie.
Well, his facts are straight because Napoli, when he came to Egypt, and you say he doesn't bring. Thank you. When he came to Egypt, he took a lot of things with him.
He conquered Egypt.
Yeah, but he at least as well took a lot of ideas.
Yeah, he took a lot of
Every
loot.
revolution actually took always things with it. So how are you surprised about that?
Napoleon was arguing. So I tell you what, let me demonstrate that you don't know what you're talking about. Napoleon argued for the idea of a nation state. This contradicts entirely. You see, she's not even listening. She wanted to have a conversation. She's not even listening.
I'm listening
Right.
to you.
So Napoleon wanted to establish the idea of a constitutional nation state in which citizens reduce their religion to the private sphere and then behave according to secular law in the public sphere. That was the principles of the Republic. Islam, by contrast, just to demonstrate how wrong you are, Islam, by contrast, has no concept of a nation state. It has no concept. It believes in an ummah and it believes in a caliphate. So how do you say that the idea of a secular republic is something that was borrowed from the Islamic world?
Do you know what the word ummah means, sir?
Yeah, it means people.
How people?
People defined by their religious identity.
Not only that.
Yeah.
Ummah also means a group that is well put together and is here for each other.
Brilliant. Okay. And how does that demonstrate that the idea of a secular republic is antithetical to the idea of a caliphate?
You're actually
Is Shia Ummah or Sunni Ummah?
It's a question. Which kind of ummah are we talking about?
Which kind of
We're talking
Ummah
about
you are
Shia ummah or
talking?
Sunni ummah?
Or Wahhabi Ummah or Marzai Ummah? Or what kind of Ummah you are talking about?
can talk like all of them together.
Let the lady speak.
Napoli,
Napoleon.
sorry,
It's okay, don't worry,
he
don't worry.
wanted a nation as well with the principles of an ummah.
Right, no. He wants, so, but what you've failed to do is to demonstrate how those ideas came from the Islamic world. Because that's your thesis, that's your argument.
He had it from Egypt.
No, but he didn't get that from Egypt, because what Islam teaches and what the Republicans of the French Revolution taught was the idea that religion should be private and should not dominate the state. Now, Islam, by contrast, says that Sharia law should dominate the state. Now, you have heard a rhetoric from a lecturer, and they have lied to you and misled you in an ahistorical fashion. Because I don't know why they've sought to do that. They're either ignorant themselves or they're misinformed themselves. But I'm telling you, you're factually wrong.
Actually, no. I think you should do your research upon this teacher.
Okay, so your teacher is wrong, and I'll debate
He's a Dutch teacher.
I'll debate it.
Even the understanding of Ummah is wrong.
Uncle, please.
Understanding of your Ummah is wrong.
Please, Uncle.
What do you want to say, sir?
Your understanding about Ummah is wrong. Wrong, because you Muslims are divided in 73 sects. More.
And Christianity.
And more. And you are coming here and telling us that you Muslims are Ummah. Whereas Shias are different, Sunnis are different, Wahhabis are different, Marzais are different.
Look,
Many.
But what you're saying is true about
73 sects.
what you're saying is true about the 73 and everything, but it's also true with the Christianity and everything.
Oh, no, we don't say Ummah. No. We don't call ourselves Ummah.
Uncle, let her speak.
Don't misunderstand us.
Uncle, let her speak.
I mean, in all the religions, there's around 70 or more differences. That's just human. The fact that we want to be focused on a good thing, that to have an ummah, doesn't mean that you can have everyone do or say or listen or be with what you would like to achieve. That's the imperfection of being human.
May I reply? What's your name? Sarah, I just want to return to the point. So firstly, I just want to say as a side note, Islam has more than 73 sects. The prophecy of Muhammad was wrong, saying that Islam was divided into 73 sects, but the reality is there's more than 73 sects. It doesn't matter how you cut it, there's more than 73. So Muhammad just prophesied wrong. But I want to come back to this idea of our law is based on Sharia law, because this is utter nonsense. Let me just tell you, you should, because the fact is, the Enlightenment philosophers that established the Republican ideology of the First Republic were more inspired by Greco-Roman paganism than they were by anything else. They were even more inspired by Greco-Roman paganism than they were by Christianity. They were actually an anti-Christian movement. That's what the Enlightenment was, a reaction to Christianity. In this country, as you also said this country as well, which is why I knew it was...
where Napoleon has
this is utter nonsense. So, for example, let's take the Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire, which was something that was conquered by Napoleon in his fight against Prussia. The Holy Roman Empire was based upon a vision, a communion of two things. Well, three things: Greek philosophy, Roman law, Christian theology. And the principles of a Christian state are very different from an Islamic state. So, and I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. So, within a Christian state, the institution of the church and the institution of the state sit separately. They work together. They're meant to work together. And they're both meant to be felt Christians. But in Islam, there is firstly no idea of a church-state separation. You believe that they're one and the same thing. In the Christian faith, we believe that our faith should be lived out publicly. But the Republicans of the Enlightenment believe that faith should be relegated to something private and individual. The church believes in collectivism. The Republican ideology believed in individual rationalism. Now, demonstrate to me that they got that idea of the individual rational being who precludes faith to the private sphere from Islam. Show me in Islam where that idea comes from, because I'm telling you it doesn't come from Islam. It comes from the Enlightenment philosophers. You could just accept you're wrong, that your lecturer misled you.
I am very personal.
So what evidence did he give you? What evidence did he give you?
Well, especially in the Netherlands, are based upon rules.
So, I mean, there's obviously some message probably knocking me at this point. No, I'm past. Yeah, there's probably some insulting message that's just been passed.
How? Don't assume. If you want to have a professional
What did it say? What did it say? What does it say? The jury is taken from the law of Islam. Jury.
Yeah.
Right, you see,
That's not
that's,
true.
can I just...
Plato, the Republic talks about the 10 men of the jury.
Pagans had before Islam.
No,
bro, I'm sorry.
Have you read Plato?
Sorry.
Have you read Plato?
Koresh.
Yes or no?
No.
Okay, I could tell. Because Plato in the Republic talks about the judge, he talks about the judge being hopefully being a philosopher and having 10 men, he describes 10 men of philosophical training as a jury that would then come with a decision. This is in the Republic. This is chapter 7.
Even our Lord was born. This is before Jesus Christ. So can we just say to you, the reason why Muslims like yourself are trying to claim the heritage that doesn't belong to you and are trying to claim every good idea as being an Islamic one is based on three things. Two principal things. Ignorance combined with arrogance. You just stated because he showed you a little text message.
I have not even.
No, let me finish.
You
just said that the jury came from Islam.
Wait a second.
That is a lie.
I have not said anything.
That is a lie. Do you agree with it?
Listen, I have not said anything about it. No, you should not assume.
Do you agree with it? I'm asking
maybe,
you.
Maybe not.
Maybe
but you should
I'm asking
not
you, do you agree with it?
I'm not going to answer until I finish my point.
Can I just make the point
No.
that Plato
1 second.
The Council of 10.
Yeah, thank you. Let us speak. Go on.
First of all, Islam is definitely not based on arrogance. It's definitely not based on...
Yeah, it is.
No, it definitely isn't. It's actually the most opposite of it at all.
So why
Ignorance is how you actually get separated more from your deen.
So why does the Quran call you to humiliate Christians?
No, it does not.
Shall I show you?
No. In the Quran, we should have respected all people from religions.
That's not what your Quran says.
It does.
That's not what your Quran says.
What type of Quran do you have?
The Quran, the Islamic Quran. So the reality is,
Then you've translated it wrong. I can't. How is it in the same Quran that it's been said upon? But the translator, no. Let me tell you something about the Quran. If you want to give me some. Yeah, but that's not the translator I use.
Which
He's not a
translation do you
Christian.
use?
He's not. Abdullah Yusuf Ali is not a
He's
Christian.
not.
Okay,
In this
but it doesn't matter.
in this translation,
You can see I've translated
in
the
this
Quran.
translation, it calls Christians the
He's
worst
a
of
Muslim
creatures.
scholar.
No, and that's not how we interpret it.
So when
Open
you
the Quran. Listen, can I finish my sister?
yeah.
Sister, I'm a Christian, yeah? I can't tell you about Jesus, you understand? I can simply open it. No, now he mentioned that. You say that Quran, show him in your Quran then.
I'm not.
You cannot pretend like
But let me tell you something. In the
Please
Quran,
let the lady speak. Go on.
Quran and the religion in itself is based upon respect. We have to. You can not know, but I definitely am sure that it is. You have the wrong interpretation, and I can. Well, experience is different. People are imperfect, and that's not how.
And 1400 years of experience.
And then you don't live 1400 years to tell me something like
The
that.
church has existed.
Yeah, listen, You are so wrong in so many factors. It's literally amazing. Amazing.
Okay. Like, go on, finish your point.
Yes,
The
thank
Quran
you.
is saying your religion is
Go on.
yours,
Let her finish your point.
Why are you here?
I apologise for interrupting.
For what
Please,
reason
go on,
you are
finish your
here?
point.
You're
Please.
allowed to talk.
Why are you
You've been
here?
interpreting 10
Because
times.
I'm
Why would
talking.
you tell you?
Let her finish.
Everybody
Yeah.
talk.
Madam, miss.
Okay, if y'all don't shut up, I swear I
You
will
start
go.
talking.
Miss, finish your point. Go on. Let her finish your point.
I don't know what type of interpretation you use, but in the baseline of every Islamic person, you have to be respecting towards everyone's deen. You do you, I do me.
No, let her finish your point. Go on, sorry.
لكم دينكم ولي دين.
Let
I have my religious.
her finish your point. Go on.
Verily, verily, I say to you that only Islam will be accepted to you.
Yes, but it doesn't mean that we should not respect each other.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
By default, it
Even
does.
let me tell.
The thing
Okay,
is,
let me
we're
start.
getting off the point. I'm trying to come back to the point that we were talking
You,
about.
wait. Your point was to me, towards me. Your point, no. Your point now, towards me was one thing.
Yeah.
People who are Muslim are ignorant.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, what did you say?
No, I said that your statements and the statements that Muslims make when they try to claim even things like juries that even Plato was talking about before Islam are Islamic, and we got them from Islam, is a statement based on ignorance and arrogance combined.
Ignorance
We
and
call them Ahl
arrogance.
Kitab. Tell them we call them Ahl Kitab. We never call them anything else.
Let's say about jewelry is an immaterial thing we don't care about at the end of the day. First of all, ignorance, and I will tell you, and I'll tell you 10 times, ignorance and arrogance are two things that separate you from deen. The more you are looking towards that and being selfish, you are not working as a Muslim person. You are not working correctly. And it's normal to be imperfect, and it doesn't mean that it's good, but it happens a lot. We are all imperfect. This world would have not existed if there was always all imperfect perfect people.
Madam, let me reply to what you're saying.
Not yet.
Go on,
I'm not
finish your
finished
point.
yet. So that's the beginning of it all. This world, this dunya, would have not been here if it was perfect. Would have never been here. This all has been a test. The more you've been ignorant, we call it having a stone heart. That means that you're separated from your deen. The more that you are opening to working to help everyone, even with something called zakat. Do you know what zakat is? Especially
It's a
to
tax.
people who doesn't even have to be.
It's a redistributed
Okay,
tax.
well, yeah, but why do we have to do so?
It's a good because you're commanded.
Yeah, but why are we commanded to?
Because Allah commands it in His
To
Quran.
uplift the
But you're
Yeah, but
aware-
why
One
does
second,
he
one second,
command
one
it?
second, no, one second. Like if you're gonna bring up zakat, let's just point out that firstly, the first generation of Muslims didn't even know it was a pillar of Islam because we fought an entire civil war, on the fact that there were a whole group of Muslim tribes that thought that zakat was just a personal pledge to Muhammad, and that after he died, it was not due to be given to his successor.
How is that possible?
That's a
Muhammad
fact.
sallallahu alayhi
That's a
wa sallam.
fact.
No.
Muslims
Muhammad
didn't
sallallahu alayhi wa sallam
agree.
lived poor.
Muslims
He
did not
lived poor even when
agree.
his wife died.
The first generation of Muslims.
100%, sir. Get your
Madam,
facts
madam,
straight.
from booty.
Madam, I've tried to
booty,
defend your
you are
right to
getting
speak,
5%.
and I apologise for interrupting you, because I did do it myself. But let's try and have a calm conversation. The reality is that the first generation of Muslims weren't even sure that zakat was a part of their deen. But I want to go off all these red herrings and get back to the main point, which is that you have made a factually false claim and you have not demonstrated with any evidence what you have said, which is that our Western law is based upon Sharia law. That is nonsense. It is historical nonsense, and it comes from two places: ignorance combined with arrogance. Because you're trying to say that things like this bro showed you a little thing saying the jury system came from Islam. But if anyone reads Plato's writings, we know that the pagans were having juries even before Christianity. Christians have their own system of law. We base it on the Ten Commandments. That's where Christian law begins. Can you show me the Ten Commandments in the Quran? Let's look at the Ten Commandments in the Quran.
Because Allah said,
Can we start with, let's go through them one at a time. Do you know the Ten Commandments?
لا أنا ما أريد الإنجليزي أريد بالعربي.
I just want to ask you this question. Do you know what the Ten Commandments are?
Yes.
Right, what is the first commandment?
I don't remember by name, but I know what they are and what they are.
Okay, so just roughly, in your own words, what's the first commandment?
بس ما تقدر
She doesn't know what the Ten Commandments are.
You asked me one thing. Don't assume. That's the bad worst habit you
Tell me
have.
your own words. What's the first commandment?
I'm not. No. Don't ask me 26. I'm now replying on the fact that you said give me your fact.
So,
Let me get
show me in the Quran the Ten Commandments.
One second.
تعرف الجوري في المحكمة هو يقول ان الفكرة هذه اخذوها من الاسلام القانون الاسلامي فيه الجوري المالكية بالغير
We're going to see that the Ten Commandments are not in the Quran.
المذهب المالكي في اسبانيا كانوا لا شو هذا انا قلتها له بعدين هو قاعد 12 واحد تاتي من الثقافه الاسلاميه من اخذوا هالنورماندي عرفت يحكمون ما كنا
Madam, are you ready? So,
انا قلت
Is this Quran? Let's find out.
ناخذ اشياء كثيره من الاسلام
we're going to see Ten Commandments. Because the reason why I say this, madam, the reason why this is an important point, is because when Alfred the Great established Saxon law, the first of his commandments, the first of his laws, were the Ten Commandments. And in every Christian civilization, the Ten Commandments are always the starting point of Christian law. In every Christian society, from Armenia to Ethiopia, to Germany, to the Holy Roman Empire, to Catholic Spain, Italy, Greece, the Ten Commandments appear in all of them. You're making the claim that our legal system is based on Sharia law, so please show me the Ten Commandments.
That's not the point. You said we don't. My answer to you was the Netherlands and like the countries that were head to the revolution used the Sharia law.
But you can't prove that either.
I am proving to you. Just 1 second.
So are you saying that we can't find the Ten Commandments in the Quran? Should we put that idea to bed?
I am not focused with that one at all.
Well, no. You said
you're changing the subject. I am not changing. I'm not changing.
We're talking about your false claim that our Western law is based on Sharia law.
Yeah.
And I am asking you to give me evidence.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Have patience.
Okay. So and one of the questions that I made was that the Ten Commandments are not in the Quran, but they are in the Bible, and you said they are in the Quran. And
No,
I
I
said,
said not.
well, anyone who watches this on camera will.
that's why we went to find it.
Does
Okay.
Western law says female genital mutilation is a halal thing?
No, of course not.
Does Western law says that
It's not halal in Islam.
Huh?
It's not even halal in Sharia.
it's not halal? It's a halal in Sharia law. It's halal in Sharia law.
One way.
Pull up the proof. Pull up the hadith.
So in Western,
Pull up the proof.
if you're Christian, the means that they believe that one man, one wife.
Okay. So yeah, this is a perfect example. In Western law, up until still at the moment, I mean, it probably will change because of the atheist progressives, but in Western law currently, across the Western world, monogamy is the standard definition of marriage. Is that Islamic? No, it isn't. Okay, in Western law, the idea that let's think of another example. Yeah, in the idea of inheritance, in Western law, men and women can equally inherit from their fathers. Is that an Islamic law?
I am still. If you just really, you keep on talking, and I kept telling you, just have a second.
So just to be clear, that's not Islamic either, because women can't inherit as much as men do.
Women, we teach women power, female power.
In Western law, while you're finding your thing, I'm just giving examples. No, she's finding her examples. I'm giving. No, 1 second. 1 second. We're having a nice, calm conversation. Calm down. Calm down.
Why is that?
Guys, calm down. Guys, calm down. Sorry, 1 second. thank you. In Western law, adoption is a thing that is legally permissible. In Islam, adoption doesn't exist. Doesn't exist.
Wait, we do it.
Doesn't exist. Sorry, hold on. You're finding your.
Yeah, we do it.
Right.
It's in the Quran.
Now we talked about.
Peace and
We
love.
talked about.
Peace and love.
We talked about. Listen. Female genital mutilation. In Al-Tamid 2160 and in Al-Mughni 163. It says in the fatwa of Al-Lajna Al-Da'ima. Forgive me for those who are Arabic speakers, I'm not a native. Listen. Thus it is clear that the fuqaha of Islam are agreed that circumcision is prescribed for both males and females. So female genital mutilation is halal in Islam.
Thank you.
There's your
Can I
evidence.
see this source?
Thank you. See the source.
I want the source.
This is the source.
Picture.
This is the reference.
Yeah, I can reference it right there.
You can deny it, but we've referenced
You have literally no power to
it.
reference.
These are Muslims writing about female genital mutilation.
No way.
Muslims are writing this. Muslims are saying this, that female genital mutilation is a halal in Islam. No Christian is writing.
Thomas, guys, stop shouting. Stop shouting. Let the lady
Did you
speak.
translate that yourself?
Let the lady speak.
The picture that you were so.
No Muslim.
Yeah, any Muslim.
Fatwa.
I can translate, but I'll still be 10 times wrong. That's my point.
The reference is there.
Yeah. Who referenced it?
Look.
No,
It's in.
yeah, my father is a Muslim, but he respects me.
Yeah.
So think about it. Not anyone can translate.
You provided our evidence. You can dismiss it if you want to.
Where is the Muslim?
So have you got? Madam, stop shouting in the lady's ear. Everybody, stop shouting
My
in the
question is
lady's
really
ear.
clear.
Let her speak. Go.
I don't give a damn that he's Muslim. My question was, who translated it? My dad can translate it, he will be 10 times wrong. And not anyone can
I'm
translate
sure
it.
it is translated by a Muslim.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, but doesn't mean it's good.
Madam, all that required.
I can ask him to translate and he will be Muslim tomorrow. Is it good?
Madam, you're offended by the evidence.
No, I'm not defended. I mean, you
You're
do not
offended
answer my
by the
question. No,
Offended.
I'm not
You're offended by your
listening.
evidence. People can research it themselves
No.
whether Islamic jurists have said that female genital mutilation is
I will
halal,
answer
and they
one
will
more time.
discover that they have.
You have a screenshot of a weird of a picture. You could have translated and you could say, yeah, Muslim one did it, translate it. Answer my question for the 10th
Sorry,
time.
have you got any evidence to your claim that Western law is built on Islam?
No,
It's all right.
now you are pushing something in my face and saying, oh, it's halal too, that's the circumcision for the females. It's not halal at all. So instead of taking my point and showing me some facts, show me where you got that fact from.
So let's read.
Wow,
the
Twitter.
other.
Mashallah, Twitter. We're going to use Twitter now as our facts? Let's use Wikipedia as well.
Okay, I wouldn't use that as an evidence. Uncle, I wouldn't use that as an evidence. It's just a
Yeah,
It's a misguide. It's a shaitan.
This is Muslim lady.
yeah.
This is a Muslim lady and well-known lady.
Yeah.
Well-known. She is well-known. She is Muslim. Well-known lady, and she is saying.
Madam, are you wanting to come with your evidence?
My question, I have to ask it to you, I
Okay.
like 10th time. Who translates? You can tell me.
Can you find a better translation?
Yes, sure.
Go on then, please.
Fake news.
Okay,
Exactly.
so the point is,
Let me tell you something.
while you're finding your evidence, let's just go through from the beginning what the lady's claim was for everyone. I want to catch
No,
everyone
don't-
up who's come late.
you're changing, like,
No,
every
you're
20
finding your evidence.
I will make
So
this
the
last one.
lady made the claim. I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Doesn't matter.
The
Let me
lady
just-
made the claim.
God, can you
You found your evidence.
No, but let me
Go
listen to
on.
tape.
Go on.
Here is another one.
Go on.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم لا يسترجي يا ربي.
Yeah. Western law does not
Okay.
come from Sharia law.
Your translations, there's a very big problem with me, and it's not because of the circumcision part. My problem with it, and that's a very important part that happens a lot and is mistaken a lot, is your translation is wrong.
Okay, right. So
When you get you can show me all those stupid dumb pictures, but you have no source.
Islamic sources are stupid and dumb. We totally agree. Islamic sources are stupid and dumb. We totally agree.
Yeah, excuse me for my language, but I'm telling you.
Who's that?
Yeah, I can write down who has written it, but it is not your
Who's
source.
that? Bukhari.
This is not your source.
Imam Bukhari.
Yeah.
Bukhari.
He is.
Your sources are
Imam Bukhari, 1245.
He is dumb.
Bukhari.
Imam Bukhari, 1245, and an old woman from Kufa, the grandmother of Ali
Stop screaming in my voice.
reported that al-Mujha said, I was captured with some girls from Byzantium. Uthman offered us Islam, but only myself and one other girl accepted Islam. Praise be to those that rejected and stayed faithful to God. Uthman said, go and circumcise them and purify them. That is speaking of women. That's female genital mutilation in the hadiths. In Imam Bukhari, Sahih Bukhari. So, female genital mutilation is permissible in Islam.
Okay, what's your name? Okay, this is how you are treating my religion, okay? And I want you to understand.
No. Your religion is treating you. He is not doing. He is not. He is just reading. He is reading.
Okay, sir, let me
Your religion is treating to you.
Uncle,
This is the last time. Wait a second. This is the last time you went to.
What? No.
Keep talking through me.
Why you are blaming him?
Okay, when he
Why you are blaming him?
Did I blame you?
Whereas your sources are here.
I will.
Your sources are here.
No, I will talk.
Why she is blaming you?
Did I blame you?
No, he talks, I will talk when he talks. I will talk.
You are telling him.
no, we won't get into it.
If you keep screaming in my ear, I swear to God I will block you, okay? Let's have respect in this conversation, please. Okay? Thank you very much. Please, sir.
Hold on one second. He's just said, let's smack him across the face.
No.
That's what he just said. Oh, smack him across the face.
We will talk. Because he talk, we will talk.
Means respect, guys. Yeah, all right, little thug boy. All right, little thug boy. Straightening an old man. Look at you clown. Look at you clown.
ما تبوظش الموضوع المية تقول ما تبوظش الموضوع. Take it easy.
Why Frank?
يا شباب خلوه يتكلم يا شباب.
Okay, I want to state one thing because everyone keeps interpreting and then I'll be leaving because I'll get your point whatever you will ask, okay? One last thing. Your name was Bob, right?
That's the name I use.
I will make a good example of how you treat my religion, okay? Let's say I will have here. Let's say I have a source here, a screenshot, like you do. I'll write down your name and say, yeah, Christianity is the most dumbest thing ever. And okay, let's say an example, of course.
Like when the Quran says Christians are the worst of creatures.
Yeah, because you can't currently have the source. But every time I ask you for your source, you show me a weird ass screenshot. So that's my point.
To show you in the Quran.
I'm not finished with my point yet, sir. Can you finish me? Okay, thank
You
you.
haven't shown us how is it Western
And if you let me talk and not stop, and if you stop talking, then I'll start to finish.
Sorry, let us finish your point.
Your sources are weak. And for us in religion, any translation you have, it's very important to know where your translation is from. In hadith as well, even what we call is something called the weak hadith, we are supposed to follow the strongest one. And how do we know when it's the strongest one? When all our facts are being checked upon and are 100% clear, then we know it's a strong hadith. In Quran as well, when we are trying to translate, what is not recommended? To know an English translation. It's not preferred. You can use the Arabic translation, but you have to go to a sheikh that is familiar and has studied the Quran to then give you the translation. You've been showing me 3 screenshots or 2 screenshots with someone's name on it. Yeah, I can write your name on something and then tell you that's the same screenshot and it's proven. But you keep showing me this and you keep telling me and keep even defining with some bad words about my religion and then telling me, yeah, that's how my religion is. Well, I keep telling you that's not how religion is. No. I have not finished yet. Again, everything when we study upon is, yeah, there is the differences, but that's about because men are imperfect and we continuously make mistakes like you do, because we are all human to do and make those mistakes. It's very important to know in all those cases that when you want to know a fact, that you should go to the right sheikh and the right person to understand and get this information from. I can give you those sources and I can tell you for sure that those are very verified people. But you should not give me a screenshot and tell me that's a fact and scream in my ear with all the disrespect and tell me, yeah, that's the most biggest nonsense in the whole world. Sir, I cannot.
Next Sunday, bring your sheikh here. Next Sunday, bring your sheikh.
We're all on the same side, guys. We all agree the ladies should be allowed to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all agreed. This is
Second
Christian
point.
chivalry.
Well done, well done.
I'm not finishing. I'm not finishing.
More
Second
manners that the Muslims show to the Christian women in the park.
Besides, you can tell me 20 times things or 20 different things about religion and tell me, yeah, that is a fact. But I've continuously asked you, what's your source? You've just written down someone's imam's name and you have
Sahih Bukhari is not a source.
Let her speak. Go on.
This is how many times? Wait.
But I can write everyone's name and I can write your name and tell you what's your
This is
source.
not very good for you.
And my point is very clear. You can scream in my ear like everyone here did and tell me female genitalia is haram, that people are ignorant in the deen, but I can tell you and I can with all my verified heart I can tell you, ignorance and arrogance, if you are like that, we call it having a stone heart, which means that you are very separated from your deen. And that happens, right? And materialistic things separates you every time from your deen. That's why this dunya, with all the imperfect people, which makes it so amazing, is a big ass test. It's to test you if you can still stay with your deen, give the money to people who are needed, and especially to people who are not Muslim. It states in the Quran that even when you are when you are staying, no, it's too much. It's ironical. That's why. You have zakat. You said it's very important, and it's because Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says so. Why do you think He says something like that? Just for fun? It's like, oh, we have to take 2.5% for people's money just for fun? No, of course not. It's because it's not your money. It's money you've earned. You have to give it away to people who are also in need. And then you have something called sadaqah. Sadaqah is even preferred when people who are. I'm not done with you.
Madam,
no, I'm not done talking.
No, hold on one second. Let's have a conversation.
I will finish my sentence and then you'll start to ask your question because you have continuously interrupted me. And it's very disrespectful at some point.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, but that's how it works.
It is how it works here.
Again, sadaqah and everything you said, yeah, we should not prioritize people who are Muslim. Well, actually we should respect Muslims and people who are not Muslim. Boy, I'm not finished what I meant. My point was, you said that we disrespect Christians and Christian people. I'm sorry for my language. But most in the contrary, actually, we should respect every deen. Yeah, lakum dinakum waliya din. I have my own religion, you have your own religion. Yes, that's very true. But it never meant that we should not respect any one of them.
So allow me to reply. You said you were going to finish a sentence.
Yeah, and my sentence is just not finished.
So no,
we're not. I'm not. No.
A conversation with you.
You kept on talking to the camera and show me fake sources. No, now it's no, sir. No. I am not done with finishing.
You have made a claim. No, you've made a claim.
I am gonna make this last statement.
No.
If you stop.
Your statement is just going on to another statement and another statement.
I am not done talking.
No, I'm sorry, madam.
I'm not done talking. You don't talk continuously.
Sorry, madam. The thing is, in a conversation, sir, in a conversation, it is a two-way.
I know, but it's now not a conversation anymore.
One second. It's not a conversation.
If you keep interrupting me, it's not a conversation anymore.
Is it a monologue?
Well, you kept starting to talk and screaming out.
Why? Because she's talking the truth and you interrupting her. You're interrupting her. You don't want her to finish the right. Why? Or you want to speak badly about Islam and the people? You're telling people wrong.
I can give you sources.
She's saying everything. What are you saying? You blamed her wrong.
Yes, you cannot.
Got it from Saudi Arabia. The thing is, madam, you're not finishing the point. You're just going from point to point to point.
That's how this whole conversation you're trying to assume to me that is being going. You've continued every 2 minutes, have been stating every time a new fact, and then I should be responding, and then you'll say,
you made a thesis. Your thesis was that Western law was built on Islamic law. And I asked you for evidence, and you have provided zero evidence to this claim. And I have demonstrated through examples in history that Europe has its own tradition of law. Now that is not a factually disputable claim.
500 years you were not even language. You haven't got a language.
Apparently, for 500 years ago, we didn't even have a language.
You haven't got a language.
Arrogance and ignorance
500 years.
underpin these kinds of statements. What
the
language was Shakespeare speaking 500 years ago?
Where was Shakespeare?
My God.
Where did he learn?
These are the kinds of arrogant, ignorant statements
You talking about
that are
Shakespeare
being
500 years.
made in the park.
When did he born? When did Shakespeare born?
Because amongst all too many Muslims in the park, there is a supremacist mindset
against Islam and against
Islam is
the people.
superior.
And where is the bad thing and
And the
wrong
reality is that we have our own traditions of war in the West. And Muslims are voting with their feet. It isn't that there's migration to Saudi Arabia. The Afghans didn't run to Saudi Arabia. They ran to the West. Because Western law is better than Sharia law.
Open your dictionary.
The facts demonstrate that.
You will find out.
Facts demonstrate
Your
that.
language is where it comes from. Open your language. You have to stop like
Okay,
Now
sir.
notice how they interrupted.
No,
You were totally fine with them
That's him. That's him interrupted.
Did I call him out on it?
No, you didn't.
Yes,
I told you. I told you to stop him and you didn't.
I did.
You
It's on
didn't.
camera.
I
It's
told
on
you.
camera.
I told you stop
It's on
him
camera.
and you didn't. But I'm waiting for you. As soon
But
as you
did
talk,
you call out
I
this
will
little
talk.
punk when he threatened
As
to
soon
punch an old man?
as soon as you talk,
When he
I
threatened
will
to punch
talk.
an old man?
No way.
Where was your justice then?
Because he
When
wasn't
you
speaking.
be
You wasn't
threatened
speaking.
to punch an
You
old
wasn't
man?
speaking. As soon as you talk, I will talk because you didn't stop him.
Oh, now he's quiet.
Yeah. I will be quiet when she
Being
talks.
polite, sir. If you ask and don't scream in someone's ear like you just now do, then you get someone
I
to
raise my voice if people aren't having a
raise your
conversation.
voice?
I just did, yeah, I raised my
Yeah,
voice.
exactly. And not only raise your voice, you've been even cursing out people and saying they're jihadis. Is that respectful?
He threatened to punch an old man, is that alright?
And-
Are you defending
I
a
never.
man that
No.
threatened to punch?
I never.
He threatened to punch
Did I
an old
not?
man. That's what he
Did
did.
I?
And he's
Did I
just
not?
said
still
it again.
offering to do
He's
it.
just said it again.
He just said I'll punch him
But
now.
have you not got a problem with that?
Can I talk?
Have you not got a problem with
Where is the old man? Where is the old man?
Talk to him.
And who's the old man?
The one with white hair in front of you.
Where is the old man?
Are you blind?
This is a devil. It's not an old man. This is a devil.
احلى حاجه في الموضوع ده ان انت لازم نهدى.
Western law is based on Sharia law.
Is a lie. Western law is based on the Enlightenment, which emerged out of a Christian paradigm. That's the reality of our civilization. And people that claim, as this lady has, that Sharia law is the root of Western law, and he's saying yes, are making a claim based out of arrogance and
Even
ignorance.
cooking, they don't know how to make
People
cook.
in the West
They don't know how to make cook.
discover
They don't
their
know how
own
to eat.
history. Because if you don't learn your history,
Would you?
others will kidnap
Tell
your
me,
history for you.
what university was in England? The first university. Tell me. Tell me.
He doesn't know.
What's the relevance? What's the relevance of the
Okay,
question?
sir. Before you start screaming again,
No
and telling me
eating,
that
no
we are
even
not
languages,
learning
nothing you had before.
This is the
You
worst
start
conversation going on.
before
Islam.
Say
before
about this,
what do you
and
call
you
him?
keep on screaming, oh,
Ask
different,
the
no, very
Chinese.
different.
Ask
Okay.
the Chinese.
I told you my evidence in the beginning.
Evidence. You said that your lecturer said this, but then I said, what evidence does your lecturer give you? And then you gave exactly no examples. None.
Here's why. Here's why.
Here's why. So I wasn't lying.
You have to learn stuff
No.
this week. Go on.
Because you kept on screaming 20 different points. If you want to have a
You
conversation,
have it. You were looking at it.
Before
You couldn't
Jesus
find
Christ.
it.
I'm educated.
First
university was in
Okay, and don't spray it to me.
The
Okay? I
time
can
of
hear you
Jesus
very
Christ, it was no Britain in that time.
Of course not.
One thing is very important. Your sources are weak.
That's got nothing to do with the question.
Oh, those are very much to do with the question.
You have made the claim. You have made the claim that Western law is built on Sharia law, but you've provided no evidence.
Because when I did, you started to scream something different, and that's what I want to
Get it out.
I already got it out, but then I returned it because you are way too ignorant.
You know what the reality is? You don't have any
I
evidence.
actually do, and I have it here.
Go on then. What is it?
Show us the evidence.
Let her show us the evidence.
Here's one of the articles that I mentioned. It's a research that was done in the Netherlands University show. I did that by Dr. Baker, Dr. Jingering, and Van Moken, all Dutch researchers, Dutch, not Muslim, Dutch researchers that even clarify those points.
So what's the evidence?
Are they better than Bukhari?
What's the evidence?
Are they better than Bukhari?
I got it.
Better than Bukhari?
Don't worry, he talks.
If
He
you want
talks.
to say,
Those doctors are better
He
than
talk. He
Bukhari.
talk.
Are
He
you
talk.
saying this?
Wait for him until he talk, and
There's
we'll
two
talk.
conversations going on here.
yeah,
The first conversation is whether Western law is built on Islamic law, to which we have still not seen any evidence at all.
what did I just show you?
The second conversation that's
Tommy, I
going on
haven't
here
PhD, doesn't mean
is
I'm right.
Western law superior to Islamic law,
And I am a doctor
for
of
which we
engineering,
have
okay?
seen evidence. We've seen evidence that Western law
Are you
is
saying only
distinct from
you-
Islamic law,
only you know
and we've
PhD?
seen evidence that Western law is superior to Islamic law, but we have seen zero evidence, not a word of evidence showing that Western law is built on Sharia law.
I literally just showed
No,
you.
you
No, you didn't. You didn't. You just
you have
quoted.
memory loss,
You just
sir?
gave
No, you
3
didn't.
names of doctors.
No, not even two.
What's the
Literally
paper?
the whole article.
What's the article?
Here's the whole
So
paper.
here it is. The article is not entitled.
Listen.
You hold the phone if you want to.
Yeah.
The article is titled Sharia law in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
All right. Does that state that Western law is built on Sharia?
Yes.
Go, show me. Show us.
Show us the paragraph.
Show us the evidence. Not a statement or a belief, but the evidence. The evidence. Not a statement of belief, evidence.
Tell him the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Where he get it from? The
I
number.
gave him the sources.
The number 1, 2,
Something
3, 4.
different.
Where he get it from?
You made a
What do you
claim.
mean?
Who created 1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4?
this article.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave him the names. He already seen it.
Who?
Instead of what he did, he just called out some
All you've done is quote the title of an article.
No, I'm still getting to
the
the
name
point.
of some doctors, but you've given zero evidence.
Sharia.
In abstract, the concept for which we found a description of proper is claim behavior. Okay?
Yeah.
Closely captured, most respondent understanding.
Yeah.
Many Muslims in the Netherlands hardly reflect on the correct and inconsistent because we are imperfect people. Okay?
Okay.
When we what? I'm reading out loud, sir.
It's all right. You're doing well, by the way. You're doing well.
Thanks.
Is this your first time in Speaker's Forum?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm actually, let's say, in
It's a heated environment. Carry on. Go on. Let you get to.
Very bad quality conversation, but okay.
Let you get to your evidence.
Wait, this is talking from different. Sorry.
He's not. There's no point trying. He's not.
Wait.
Just,
A combination of three aspects is quite possible
Maybe
and
Ali
likely
has.
occurs when often are
Come, Ali.
strict application and single aspect. Perhaps another aspect of Islam indicate that they prefer to settle in.
Ali, come and help.
Madam, let me hold my microphone
No, don't
to
worry
your
about it.
mouth so that we capture your voice.
No, thanks.
Just wanted to make sure you were here.
No, it doesn't matter. The removal parties are which process, and it was after this World War II, when the laws were very weak, they used upon the rules upon Sharia to.
That's a statement. Where's the evidence?
Are you blind?
No, that's just a statement.
Nah, that's how you work with
That's
your
an
facts.
opinion.
No. This is an actual article.
An opinion of an article is not
This
a
is
fact.
not how this conversation works. You don't show weird ass, dumb ass screenshots and tell me that's a fact, and then when I tell you an actual article and then show me that's a fact, there's not a fact.
But this is a flawed
Does that
logic.
mean I'm right or right?
I can write an essay, miss. Madam, madam, when I was at university, right, as an undergraduate, of course, I wrote many an essay. This is an
Good for
essay
you.
of scholars. All
That's
that
not
that
an
is,
essay,
all that
actually. This is an actual
it's
research.
just an article of scholars. It doesn't prove it. If I make a statement, the statement is not a fact just because I put it in an article. But that's your logic. You're essentially saying, because of the opinion of some scholars.
Ali.
Do as Uncle Ali says. Uncle Ali's arrived, madam. Do as you're told. Run along, madam. Uncle Ali tells you to run.
I will say no. I will. Yeah, but I will say.
Ali is here to rescue.
Ali.
Leave her alone, Ali.
I will say one thing and then I'll say because I have a flight.
Okay, I'd like to give you a gift for your
No, I don't.
You don't want the gift? You don't want the gift?
No, I don't expect anything. Sir, I will say one thing. You want to know the facts and want to have a conversation? Give me right sources first of all. Don't make statements. If I gave you if I gave you a peer-reviewed article.
Don't be ridiculous.
If I gave you a wait a second. I will make my final statement, sir. If I gave you a peer-reviewed articles done by not one, three, but like 6 doctors.
Their opinions.
Their opinions.
They are.
Your life is an opinion, I guess.
That's just an opinion.
Sir.
You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time with them. Okay. You're wasting your time with them. Good.
What we saw, ladies and gentlemen,
What did we see?
what did we see? We saw arrogance and ignorance on display. The arrogance and the ignorance combined has actually led someone to make the preposterous claim that European law is based upon Sharia law. That Napoleon went to Egypt, took Sharia law back to Europe and spread it around Europe. This demonstrates a fundamental ignorance and arrogance of some Muslim commentators. And what is it based on? It's based upon the opinions of some academics from the Netherlands. As if every European is suddenly ignorant of our own history. As if every European is suddenly ignorant of our own legal tradition. English legal
You got to think of that one, right?
was built upon the idea of common law instituted by Alfred the Great, who was inspired by the Bible in the writing of his laws. European law, up to the time of the Enlightenment, was equally inspired by the Christian faith. At the Enlightenment, there was a rupture in our legal history. A rupture that redefined the way that the citizen, a new invention, related to the state in the French Republic, and those ideas were pressed around Europe from the time of Napoleon forward. Islamic law and Christian law are very different. Let me give you some examples. In Christian law, adoption is a legal entity. And we Christians are proud of that. It gives dignity to orphans. In Islam, adoption does not exist. It means that children do not receive the dignity of being received into a family other than as someone who's been taken care of by a caretaker. In Christian law, men and women are equal in marriage. One man, one woman. But in Islamic law, one man can marry up to 4 women. That means that there is an unfairness to women in Islamic law that Christian law does not fall into. In Christian law, there is the idea that the church and the state operate as separate entities. That Christians operate in the secular world and Christians operate in the religious world. This is the fundamental principle of every Western constitution, from America to Poland to Russia. Why? Because of the Christian basis of our understanding of law. It was a new invention that entered into Europe, changing the the format of Roman law. This distinction does not exist in Islamic law.
Nothing.
In Islamic law, I, as a Christian, would be treated as a second-class citizen in Sharia law.
What does that mean, Bob?
It would mean that if I was killed, the blood money paid to my family would be half that of the blood money paid if I was killed as a Muslim. It means that as a Christian, I would not be fully able to practice my faith under Sharia law. Western media and Western politicians and Western celebrities are virtue signaling to us when they say that all religions teach the same and that all religions act the same.
Lie.
The reality is that is a lie. If you don't believe me, go and look at the government, Her Majesty's government website about the laws in Saudi Arabia, and you will see the witness of your own government telling you that Christians do not have equal rights in an Islamic society. In Islam, there are sources that show that female genital mutilation is halal. We read it here in this debate. In the Christian faith, all genital mutilation of children is done away with. There are real differences to your society that are the fruit of the religion that you follow. And it is time that we in the West rediscover our confidence, our conviction and our commitment to our own tradition and our own Christian worldview. Not just for the good of our lands, but for the good of the Muslim lands as well. Because Saudi Arabia would be better served, and the Arabian people would be better served by laws built on the Christian tradition than under Sharia law. Reclaim your confidence, reclaim your conviction, learn your history. Because if you don't, like you saw with that young lady, they will try to rewrite your history if you don't know your history. Any questions?
Any questions?